I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa!
Looking. One last guess. Moving guys around. Fires to the end zone, and it is broken up. The Bears win it in a crazy one.
Well, obviously, this one is going to hurt for a really, really long time. When you are in complete control of a football game and the script gets flipped in the second half, and it was a lot of self-inflicted things. And give credit to them. We knew they were a team that could come back and fight. They proved it all season long, and we had opportunities to kind of put them away, and we didn't get it done.
Welcome to the offseason, Wisconsin. Gross. Bears 31, Packers 27. We'll talk about it all show long on a Green and Gold Monday. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor Thomas and Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
Hi. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. And in segment one, we play catch up. In case you live under a rock, a stunning loss that unfortunately none of us are truly surprised by. And maybe that's the story of the season. Packers 27, Bears 31, the tale of two halves, the tale of two teams, the tale of what seems to be two coaching mindsets. One says, let's get a lead. And the other says, uh-oh, we're in the lead. And now we don't know what to do. That's usually when you talk, Josh.
Yeah,
like you have some sort of.
I think it's so much more than that, but there's just so much to get to. Opening thoughts on this game, and that is it. It almost feels like you never trusted it. I didn't, at least.
Yeah,
I didn't trust that lead.
Yep, absolutely right.
I didn't trust the 21-3 lead against the Chicago Bears with this Packers team and Jordan Love. And what does that mean? What does that say about us as fans, about the organization as a whole? It's a lot more than just what do we do when we keep a lead. It's not having any faith.
That we know comes from a few different areas. And the biggest one, in my opinion, and we're going to debate it all show long, and I'm frankly waiting for news to break. That's, if you're asking me, that's the goal. The goal is how long until we find out Matt LaFleur's gone? I thought maybe we would wake up to the news, to be completely honest.
So you seem pretty confident that he is gone. You're just waiting
100%.
for when it 100%.
100%. I will be utterly shocked if Matt LaFleur still has a job with the Green Bay Packers by the end of the week. I'm hoping by the end of today.
This is a perfect time. So we're going to get to this a bunch of times today, right? This is going to be one of the main focal points of today's show, of talking about just Matt LaFleur's job security beyond just what happened in the game, right? We'll talk about the game. We'll talk about the season. We'll talk about anything we can build on from this season, what went wrong, obviously. But the fact that so much of the conversation is also on the other side of the sandwich, you're spreading the what's happening with the head coach. And, okay, Matt LaFleur, if he's gone, then what? Then what's next? And
anything else would be great.
Well, and we're going to talk about that in the morning mind dump as well, because I'm going through it. I'm going through it with getting rid of Matt LaFleur and what we do when we get rid of Matt LaFleur.
The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line, 414-677-1250. Where you at, Wisconsin? Does he stay or does he go? Good morning to all of you in Wausau, Duluth, Superior, Green Bay, and the Fox Valley, and Milwaukee. On a Monday morning in Wisconsin when, let's be real, I can't believe you want to listen to this. Because if I was me and not doing what I'm doing, Christmas music or something, I don't know.
Oh, speaking of, I don't know if you're aware, but the rule in our house that I set, Julie would prefer that it doesn't exist, is that the Christmas decorations stay up until the Packers season is over.
Yeah, you and Luke Sampe both, yeah.
Yeah, so Julie was like, hey, we have a free weekend. Let's take down the Christmas tree. And I go, no, the Packers are still playing meaningful football. We are leaving it up. Took it all down yesterday. It's all put away. No lights, no accents, no decorations. The house looks bare like the Grinch came through.
We done.
Awful. I hate it.
The 262, right off the bat, how has he not been fired yet? I completely agree. I'm glad he got the opportunity yesterday to have his end-of-season post-game presser. Hopefully he gets to address the team this morning and let them know he is moving on. To say that I want him fired is a vast understatement. We've been talking about this all year, Josh, on what we believe the lack of leadership looks like for the Green Bay Packers. We can talk about execution, which we do. We can talk about injuries, which we have. This came down to coaching and Matt LaFleur's inability to make any adjustment whatsoever in the second half. He talked about it in his presser yesterday. We'll hear from him later in the show. Hey, bud, what happened? Well, they brought more pressure. Well, did you make adjustments? No. Well, what did you do in terms of play calling? Did you change that? Well, no.
Why?
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah, it has to be. You look at the stat line. If you are I didn't watch the game, but I looked at the stats, and then you had to guess the outcome of the game based on the stats. And you look at Jordan Love's numbers alone, you go, cool. So the Packers are going to Seattle. You look at what the defense did, a defense that you knew wasn't going to be the best part of your team, right? We all knew that going into the game. We knew that they had weaknesses all over the place. But you look at their stat line and you look at what Jordan Love did and you go, okay, so it was close, but the Packers are going on to Seattle. Then you look at the final score.
The stat lines, though, are eerily similar, almost identical, which is crazy town. There are two specific ones, though, that aren't identical. One, we intercepted the ball twice and couldn't turn that into anything worth a you-know-what.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get down to the kicking swing. McManus missed from 55 at half, which I believe is the turning point in the game. I'll get to that in a second. And then a 44-yarder late. Bears 3 for 3 from the field goal. 27, 34, and 51. Other than that, outside of the interceptions, almost identical on the stat line. Jordan Love, 24 of 46 for 323 and 4 touchdowns. Caleb Williams, 24 of 48, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. We both stopped the run. Josh Jacobs only had 55 yards. DeAndre Swift had 54, but a touchdown. One thing that we can't say. Romeo Doubs had 124 yards. Their leader, Colston Loveland, 137 yards. I mean, it's on the stat line for QB, rushing, and yardage in terms of receptions, apples to apples comparison. The difference was special teams. Matt LaFleur was asked yesterday in his post-game presser, hey, does Rich Bisaccia still have a job? And he said, yeah, we're going to talk about that. In that moment, Matt LaFleur could have easily shown us his leadership It said, no, actually, Rich actually flew home Southwest.
Yeah.
Got dropped off in Milwaukee. He's always had a problem of moving on at the right time. He held on to Joe Barry too long. I believe this is his third special teams coach in the 7 years he's been here. Matt LaFleur's got some really hard decisions to make, but Ed Policy, I think, has a pretty easy one. That's going to make all the decisions for Matt that he would ever need.
Right. That's the thing. The easy problem for Ed Policy makes the tough problems for Matt LaFleur non-existent.
They're gone.
Right.
No more decisions need to be made. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line. Scott from the 262, the special teams indeed screwed the game. Left 7 points on the board. Poor kick coverage. Exactly what we were all worried about.
Yep. Yeah. And you know what the crazy thing is that this is just a microcosm of what the whole season has been.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing changed. Nothing changed all year long. All year it was you kept yourself in it, you kept your opponent in it, you kept the game close regardless of who you were playing, and you left no room for error, and then there were errors. That's it. That was everything that's happened all year long. The Packers had multiple opportunities to make the missed kick from McManus not matter. They could have came out 21-3 with the ball, scored a touchdown, and then the game would have been over. The game would have been over with 10 minutes left in the third. It could have been over. Nope. First 2 drives out the half, 6 yards on 6 plays. Okay. Well, there you go.
Ryan from the Falls, the difference in the game is that the Bears played 4 quarters and the Packers played 2 and then seemingly gave up. No second half adjustments. Time for Matt LaFleur to go.
Preach. Perfect.
Kirsten from GB. I'm going to take the positive view today. 2 nice wins for the GB men and Dougie G. Wisconsin Badgers men basketball takes down number 2 Michigan, trying to avoid the Packers debacle. Look at you, Kirsten, helping us play catch up. Badgers indeed went into Ann Arbor and handed previously unbeaten number 2 Michigan its first loss of the season. Badgers 91, number 2 Michigan 88. We'll hear from Kevin Harlan on the call and the most electrifying sound of the day. Bucks 104, Nuggets 108 last night. Is that 1 and 2 on the West road trip for the Bucks?
Sure. Didn't care. Now I got to start caring. Packers messed that all up.
You're telling me. Marquette lost a close one, and indeed, Kirsten, GB won both on Friday when Josh was here.
Yeah, I got to see a big win.
And on Sunday against Northern Kentucky. 4 in a row. They are now in second place in the Horizon League. Nobody saw that coming for Green Bay. Yeah, Josh, how was your time in Green Bay on Friday? I thought we had a decent little time spent together.
Listen, it was awesome. Take me back to Friday. Everything Friday was so fun, and I got to see a team in Green Bay win, and got to meet Doug, and you and I had a lot of fun, and everything was perfect. We went to margaritas. You know, I got to see a game at the Crest. It was a blast. It was a blast. Take me back to Friday.
Margaritas, courtside seats, the Black Sheep, Doug Gottlieb, a couple listeners. It was fun to see them.
Yeah. Yeah. Had a blast. And then Saturday.
I know. It's so hard to.
I know.
You just want to stay there. Can we just stay there?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, there's got to be some news. We'll see what time it comes out. This is interesting from the 612. 2 ways to answer the question if LaFleur should get fired. The Packers organization should not fire Matt LaFleur for this one loss. If the Packers organization fires LaFleur for every issue with the Packers that has never been fixed or gotten better, as well as consecutive playoff losses, then firing LaFleur would make sense. I don't believe they're making a decision based on this game, but I do feel like it decided Matt LaFleur's future.
So the big thing, and I didn't do a wellness check on you after the report came out because there was a very important football game happening prior to, but the Ian Rappaport story that dropped prior to the game saying that the Packers are not having Matt LaFleur play for his job in this game, and that they are planning on extending him, and that Ed Policy is not looking at this game as one that is going to determine Matt LaFleur's future, blah, 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 blah. That came out right before the game. I hated the timing of it, whether it was true or not, because it made me feel like, no, I need him to, at the very least, coach as if this game was for his job. And that loss, though, regardless of what Ian Rappaport might have been reporting, you think would have had to swing something.
Some of that reporting I don't necessarily believe. Coming out and saying that they want to extend Matt LaFleur was a fascinating wording, in my opinion, because the Packers chose to wait. And so if they came out and said, somebody within the building said, we want to extend Matt LaFleur, well, why now? What changed? What at this point in the season, heading into the playoffs on a 4-game skid and numerous games with the lead and the inability to finish, makes you feel now like, yep, we definitely want to extend him? I didn't believe it when I heard it. It was from Rappaport. Shefty had it. I don't see what they see. I don't have that title. My opinion, your opinion, don't matter.
Yeah.
But you know how difficult it is, Josh, for beat writers to come out and write articles that say it's time to move on? I mean, there was numerous guys in the room yesterday with Matt LaFleur asking questions, having just published articles that said, we need to move on from Matt LaFleur. That's difficult sledding.
And that's what I think, regardless of maybe what Ed Policy's plan was, at some point, you said earlier in the season, did Matt LaFleur lose the locker room? After this game, even if you wanted to extend Matt LaFleur, now did he lose the fan base? Like, now as this being your first year, right? You're Ed Policy, and now you have the Packer faithful coming to you with pitchforks saying, done with Matt LaFleur. Can that be avoided? Can you just ignore the fan base, the beat writers, the culture of Green Bay saying, yeah, we're ready to move on? Because at some point, if you ignore that, then the angry mob turns on you.
I said that to a friend yesterday via text, that if somehow Ed Policy makes a decision that this is not the time to move on from Matt LaFleur, then I have questions for Ed Policy. Remember what happened when Mark Murphy took over the helm? Do you know one of the first situations he dealt with as the new leader of this organization?
Wait, no, what?
Brett Favre.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That whole thing happened shortly after the announcement came that Murphy was president. He took the job and then had to make an insanely difficult decision to move on from Brett Favre. Now, I think he allowed then Ted Thompson and crew to make the decision to move on. But this is Ed Policy's decision alone on whether or not he's going to bring Matt LaFleur back. It's because of this stupid love triangle leadership reporting structure that involves all three of the top tier of the organization, Goody, LaFleur, and Russ Ball, director of ops. He's in charge of the money. All three of them are on an equal playing field, and they all report to Ed Policy, which the whole idea was that was going to break down silos and allow more conversation to have. I think at this stage in the game, it's created more silos. That needs to be addressed too. But if this wasn't enough for Ed Policy to say, we just need some fresh eyes on this thing, I'm not sure what is. Jason in the 920, clean house on the coaching staff. Even Halfley can go. The defense was trash the last 5 games. Bring me Harbaugh. We'll talk about that on whether he is the fix And if not him, what is? But up next, like all of you, man, do we have some questions this morning.
Sure do.
The Packers season ends in Chicago. You will not want to miss 9 to noon with former Packers fullback John Kuhn, followed by the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon from noon to 2 here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network on a green and gold Monday, the last one of the 2025-2026 season for the Green Bay Packers. What a hot mess to figure out here in Green Bay. Get your questions in, your comments, your concerns. There's a high likelihood we will not be able to get to all of them today. We fully expected you all to be fired up. Should have made that bet.
Yeah.
Nailed it. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We're inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. It's going to be okay. Happy Monday. You will not want to miss 9 to noon with former Packers fullback John Kuhn and Rami Makloff today. They will announce 2 new shows coming here to the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Tune in right at 9 a.m. They'll have all the information for you on who, what, when, where, why, how, and when you'll find out. 2 more shows coming to the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome back inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Okay, we have questions.
When things just don't add up, Trevor and Josh ask the hard questions or just point out how messed up stuff is.
I only have one question. Can you fly this plane and land it? Surely you can't be serious.
Do you view this season as a failure?
You asked me the same question last year.
What's the most important question the Badgers have to answer Saturday?
This is a great question. Oh my God, this is a great question.
It's time for I Have Questions on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
I tell you to text us on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. It appears you all know the number just fine.
You don't need any help.
Holy, I expected this. So did Josh. We're here for you. I got to be honest, Josh, the words burn it down has never been more right for me.
I thought the same thing. The second that it said it, I went, yup.
Burn it down. The 920 says, how does a coach not learn from the same mistakes every week? He blew that game for the Packers yet again. He needs to go. Well, when's the right time to talk about it, Matt?
That's my question. That's my first question here. Matt, when can we talk about your job security and what happens next for you?
Yeah, with all due respect to your question, now's not the time for that. I mean, I'm just hurting for these guys. I can only think about just what just happened, and there'll be time for that.
All right, so maybe not right after the game. Fine. All right, next day. Now everyone's home, back in Green Bay. Now let's talk about it, right?
That's not the focus right now, to be honest with you. We're fresh off this loss. My sole focus is on our players, our team, and just trying to find ways to get better.
Matt, there is no next time. The season's done, bud. You don't have to worry about being better right now because you don't have a game next week or the following week or the week after that or the week after that or potentially ever in Green Bay again. That's why now is the time to talk about it.
How telling was that, though? Even in that moment, after a game like that against the Bears, the same BS kept coming out of his mouth. Well, we got to watch the tape. Well, we got to get better.
Listen, right, the first time he said it, when Pete Doherty asked him right after the game about how if he was worried about his job, that time when he answered, he said, "Now's not the time for that." I gave him a pass. I went fine. Right after the game, a lot of coaches do that. You don't want to focus on it right then. But then the next day, that was when you had to face the music, right? What do you mean your sole purpose is focusing on the team being better? The next time that we see this team is going to be at training camp, and it's going to be a completely different team. Now is not the time that's your focus. If that's your answer to that question, instead of even saying, Ed and I are going to meet, we're going to have discussion, like that would have been the answer. You don't answer that question and say, now's not the time. That's not our focus. Incorrect.
He was asked flat out if he wanted to be the coach of the Green Bay Packers next year. Listen to his answer. I thought this was very interesting.
I mean, this is one of one. I love this place. I love the people. As much as you guys drive me nuts sometimes, I love you guys. I love our players, the locker room, everybody in our organization. I mean, this is a unique place. The community has been outstanding. I grew up in the Midwest, and it's got the same type of vibe that I grew up in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. So, people are unless you're, I think, from here, you don't understand how friendly everybody is. And no matter who you are, you're walking down the street and people say hello to one another. And I've lived other places. So I think this is a unique place, and it's a special place. My kids love it here. My family loves it here.
You know what he didn't talk about? football.
That's true. It's a good
I
point.
love living here too, Matt. I absolutely love the community. I love the people in my life. I love the Midwest nice. It's why I choose to live here. You get to be a part of the community, you're right, and love all the same things that we do. But if the question is, why do you want to be the coach of the Green Bay Packers? I feel like you should just maybe mention football once or twice.
Wouldn't be a bad thought when we're talking about your job.
Friggin' mind. Talk to me about why you believe this football team can be great under your tenure. Not how much you love living in the neighborhood. Are we truly surprised about the outcome of this game? That was another question I had. No matter how big the lead was, Josh talked about it at the top, it just never felt safe. It never felt like the Bears weren't going to come back. The reasoning is because we all felt like we couldn't keep the composure that this team needed to keep throughout the entire season for them to have a chance. So, Matt, tell us about the lack of composure yet again.
I think it was more lack of execution than lack of composure. Just looking at the tape, and this is why you got to be careful what you say, I think, especially emotionally after a game. But when I look at it, it's just, don't get me wrong. It's execution, whether it's from the guys on the field or it's from a coaching decision in terms of, well, there were some play calls that you'd absolutely love to have back. Just like there's some plays that some of our guys would absolutely love to have back. And that's football. And like I said, in the biggest of stages, you got to capitalize when you have those opportunities.
Yeah, and you didn't. To your point, Trevor, when we talked about the whole fan base not feeling comfortable with that lead, the reason why is because we just saw them not be comfortable with the lead. All of us in that stadium saw the Packers not keep their composure and blow a game to the Bears. So when you're up 21-3, no, you're not going, woohoo, break out the champagne, baby, let's go. No, you're going, yeah, but do you remember like 3 weeks ago when we were in this exact same situation and then they blew it? And that's what's fresh in your mind. And I don't know how that wasn't fresh in the Packers' minds. Hey guys, we were just here. Like the smell is still on our clothes from this exact moment. And then they did the exact same thing.
Who lost composure first was Matt LaFleur. The 920 brings it up on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. I think, this person says, if McManus wouldn't have missed that kick at the end of the first half, he would have made other kicks. That got into his head right there. We should have just kneeled on the ball, and I think we would have won. Josh, that was the moment the game changed. There was 32 seconds left. The Packers had a 21-3 lead. Really bad field position, and yet Matt LaFleur got overly aggressive and went after points instead of just taking momentum into the locker room and getting the ball back to start the second half.
I disagree. First of all, he made it once. He made it when it didn't count. Ben Johnson calls timeout. He made it that time, but then he goes and he misses it the second time.
And all of the air came out of the balloon.
But that's the coaching problem.
That's my point. That's what I just said. He lost his composure there.
But I'm saying it shouldn't have been a momentum losing moment. It shouldn't have been. Even if you miss that kick, you go, all right, hey, we still are kicking ass. You go in the locker room, you make what adjustments you need to continue kicking ass. You go into the locker room going, we're up 21-3 with the ball. I don't care that we just missed that kick. It was a 55-yard kick in the wind. We took a shot what you believe? And we move on.
Is that what you think Matt LaFleur is from a leader perspective? Because I never expected that to come out of his mouth.
No, but I'm saying that's what needed to happen. It wasn't, I'm saying the fact that McManus missed that kick should not have been a momentum swinger. It absolutely shouldn't have been. It was, we're not going to just leave points out there. Why not take a shot? If he doesn't do that, and then it comes down to us missing by 3, we're all over Matt LaFleur today for a completely different reason, saying,
no,
yes,
you can't
we
look
are.
back at that moment and go, God, I wish we would have got 3 points right there. We were up 21-3. 3 points in that moment didn't mean a thing to that game. Composure did. Leadership did. Coaching decisions did. Momentum did.
And what
but
I'm
those
saying
3
is,
points at that point in the game didn't matter.
If missing that kick changed the momentum of the game, knowing you were up 21-3, then there's your problem. How do you let that happen as a head coach? You cannot let that kick, being in that situation, change things in the mindset of your team. Absolutely not.
I feel like I just got you to come full circle. We started that going, that didn't matter. To which then you were like, well, if that mattered, that's terrible.
I'm saying
that's the point.
But I'm saying it shouldn't have mattered.
I agree. But
it was a Matt LaFleur. It's a Matt LaFleur issue, not an issue of the kick itself or going for the kick.
That's why I said we should have taken a knee. That's what the person on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line said too.
But I'm saying it's still dumb that's what it had to come down to. That's still a Matt LaFleur problem. 10 out of 10 times I want him to take that kick. And I want it to not matter if he makes it or not, being up 21-3 going into half.
Thus, the need for a coaching change. Let's go to the phones. The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and text line. 414-677-1250. Kevin in the 801. It's not that we lost. It's how we lost. Coach has to go. The 608, LaFleur played not to lose in the second half. No adjustments. And on top of that, we were getting out of the huddle late and snapping the ball with 0 seconds on the play clock. The fact that they got a delay of game out of a timeout.
Oh,
that was the moment I thought Matt LaFleur sealed the deal that he's got to go. That is unbelievable.
No, but I'm sure that's the first time we've ever seen that happen, right?
Sure isn't.
Nope.
That's the problem.
Just awful.
All right, Josh, who's on the phone?
We got Kevin and Franklin.
Kevin, thanks for calling into Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. How are you?
Actually, it's John and Franklin.
John and Franklin.
All good, guys. That's the least of our problems, right? So we're talking about LaFleur here, and this is what I'm not going to be able to get past. And it's easy to call for somebody's job and easy to be emotional and say we got to change everything. All those missed kicks, there is no way I go into next season and I can trust McManus. Because, yes, the regular season does count, but it's different in the playoffs. And when you perform the way you did, and this is on McManus, a lot, the kicks he missed, and the long one at the beginning, at the end of the half, notwithstanding, you can't miss an extra point. And the other kick he missed, because the Chicago kicker had no problems. But on LaFleur, he has lost me. He does not have the real toughness, and he's proved it time and time again. When everything's going bad, you got to have the leadership, and it's leadership too. You got to be able to take the wheel and get a hold of your team. Because we've seen this 3 or 4 or 5 times this year. When everything is collapsing late in these games, he can't get the wheel and he can't get the train back on the track. And for that, he's got to go, guys. Because I'll never trust him in a meaningful playoff game, and it's been earned.
Call the day. We appreciate that. Well said. Thanks for the buzz. Jeff, John, Kevin, which was his name?
John. Jim.
John. He's right. Least of our worries. Sorry we got that wrong. LaFleur played not to lose in the second half. No adjustments. And on top of that, we're getting out of the huddle late and snapping the ball with 0 play on play clock. That's what we cannot get over. It's a great point. 414, John Harbaugh has Bob Harlan's son as an agent. Is that an omen for the Packers? Jeff from Fox Point. Saw that report yesterday. I'm sure you did too, Josh.
Yep.
I think it's an omen. I don't think there's a chance that we haven't already talked to John Harbaugh. I mean that.
Oh, I agree with you there. But this perfectly ties into my morning mind up, because I'm working through all this in my brain of, is the grass greener? Where are we going? Who are we going with? A lot of thoughts on who the next head coach of the Green Bay Packers should be.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line. More of your reaction when we get back, plus the most electrifying sound of the day. Shocker, it has nothing to do with the Packers game. We're inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. the front desk person at the radio station in Green Bay here where I'm at, big Bears fan. She just came and said hello with her coffee mug. I flipped her off. I think I might get written up.
Should have locked the door.
Yeah. Without even thinking, I flipped her off.
Yeah.
I probably should. I'm sorry.
Now I got a meeting. Great.
God, just get written up. Let's have a Monday, shall we? Time for the most electrifying sound of the day.
It's time for
The most electrifying.
sound of the day
The most electrifying.
on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Brought to you by Best Electric. Learn more at bestelect.com. Don't stress. Connect with the best.
Zeros on the clock. Wisconsin with the upset. Wisconsin has beaten number 2 Michigan. A signature win for the Badgers.
And that call from Kevin Harlan on CBS of the Badgers beating Michigan, giving them their first loss, is our most electrifying sound of the day. Brought to you by our friends at Best Electric. Remember, no job is too big or too small for Best Electric. Don't stress. Connect with the best. Call them today or visit bestelect.com. I think, Trevor, it is so just funny that the only positive news out of the whole weekend in regards to Wisconsin sports came on the, well, look ahead to March Madness.
Yep.
Essentially a, hey, time to move on to college basketball. And here's what the Badgers do to help us. It was a great win. Great win
Let's
by
get to
them.
the hard court. Great win. Signature win, as Kevin said, which, by the way, how awesome to have Kevin Harlan on the call on that. Wisconsin's own. Would you say it's like what after a long day of work?
I was like, it's like a long drag off a cigarette after a long day at work of just a, okay, yeah. I don't even smoke, but I assume that's what it feels like. I don't know.
The 414 back to the Packers. Let him
good.
play out this lame duck year. One last shot with a healthy roster. Can't put all the blame on him when missing 4 of your 5 top guys in the playoffs. 414? Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can do it.
The injuries had nothing to do with the game Saturday. Nothing. Literally nothing. 21-3 at halftime. No adjustment made. That's all coaching.
Right.
All of it.
That's why for Matt LaFleur, if they were down 34-0, then you can use that as an excuse. If they were down 34-7, but having the lead and then blowing it, then you can't blame lack of personnel. You can't, because the personnel you had out there did a good enough job. I love this one from Paul in the 920 that said, LaFleur started losing me a few years ago when he said they were going to play with, quote, all gas and no brakes, unquote. And we have never seen that mentality. And that is why we are where we are. It's true.
All gas, no brake until we have a lead. Then a lot of brake, no gas, zone defense, terrible play calling, no adjustments.
Yeah. And he's driving the car. Said he's the one driving the car.
See, you're right, Josh. That's how often we've talked about this year. You and I both could go back for, I don't know, the last 18 straight weeks.
Yup.
And hear excuse after tape after this. Got to make adjustments, got to be better, need to do that. The only person that didn't get better this season was Matt LaFleur.
Rashawn Gary.
He got worse.
Yeah. But otherwise, Matt LaFleur.
Let's just look at the truth. If we need the team to get better, if we need the team to make adjustments and change and correct and so on, Matt LaFleur said last week going into the game, we cannot afford mental mistakes. I believe Matt LaFleur had the most mental mistakes on Saturday as anybody else on the team combined.
Mm-hmm.
Combined.
Yeah. Yes.
What is Rich Bisaccia doing with our special teams? Literally nothing. That's how I feel. Nothing. Oh, well, they go out there early. Remember when he told us exactly what goes into this game plan? Well, they go out there early. Then they look at the wind and they make a decision on how they're going to kick. And then they come back and report to me. And then, I give them, I didn't even think our punting was on point in this game, which is something we've been able to absolutely depend on the entire year.
You're right. Yep. We talked about how Whelan's been the GOAT. He's been one of the MVPs of this team all season long. Couldn't even depend on that.
The morning mind dump is next, and it's long. We're probably going to mind dump till, like, I don't know, Wednesday about noon. Stick with us. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. There's not enough toilet paper around. I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa!
Bob looking. One last gasp. Moving guys around. Fires to the end zone, and it is broken up. The Bears win it in a crazy one.
Well, obviously, this one is going to hurt for a really, really long time. When you are in complete control of a football game and the script gets flipped in the second half, and it was a lot of self-inflicted things. And give credit to them. We knew they were a team that could come back and fight. They proved it all season long, and we had opportunities to kind of put them away, and we didn't get it done.
Thanks, Captain Obvious. Dude. Bad news. I'm going to be this way until that little talking box tells me he's gone.
I want to let everyone that listens to this show know that if Matt LaFleur doesn't get fired today, tomorrow's morning mind dump, my mic's off. It's going to be the first time in this show's history where we're going to have to watch Trevor's heart rate. Because I don't know that he's going to make it.
My pastor from church texted me and goes, I look forward to listening to your thoughts tomorrow morning. Try not to swear. And I said, well, it's going to be a little more difficult than I think it was earlier in the show. He goes, like only a pastor could. He goes, forgiveness is a beautiful thing.
Not now, Father.
No, I'm Lutheran. Inside Wisconsin Sports, Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht. Hi. Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Okay. Monday morning mind dump. Here we go.
I have voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me.
The coffee is kicked in. We're awake and ready to roll. Let's get some things off our chest and out of our heads.
You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you. It is an up at dawn, pride-swallowing siege that I will never fully tell you about, okay?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
We've got no food. We got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off.
It's time for the morning mind dump on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
414-677-1250. You can call, you can text. The Nicolay Law fan talk and text line is open for you. It is time for the morning mind dump. And the first question, Josh.
Yeah.
What do you really want?
Yeah, so I'm going to get us started here. Realistic sports fan, this sucks, and this has sucked. I asked Trevor before the segment if he had ever been forced to watch a Notebook, and I say forced because I feel like when I was dating, it was like a rite of passage. Like at some point, your girlfriend, your wife, someone made you sit down and have to sit through the Notebook. There was one scene in it that said,
"What do you want? What do you want?"
It's not that simple.
What do you want? Damn it. What do you want?
It's not that simple.
Or is it?
All right. So I thought about it, right? Did 3 hours of postgame with Sparky after the game. What do I want? Harbaugh, right? Harbaugh's available.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of Matt LaFleur. Go get Harbaugh. Do I want?
It's very simple.
Do I want Harbaugh? There's apparently something in Baltimore known as the John Harbaugh choke. Because has 17 blown double-digit leads, the most by any coach since 1991. So is Harbaugh the answer to the problem that we're having in Green Bay? Is Harbaugh the guy that's going to change this around and get these players to want to run through a wall for him? I'm not positive it is. Okay. And then
wait, real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. Here's why. Matt LaFleur, if fired, will be at the top of the list for available head coaching. Top of the list. He'll get to choose wherever he wants to go, which tells you that it has nothing to do with the coach did where they were. It's what do you think he's going to be able to do for you here? If we move on from Matt LaFleur, it's not because we think, well, God, we can't go and get Harbaugh. He chokes in Baltimore. It's that we can't handle what's happening with him. And so if we're going to go and get a new coach, it has very little to do with what they were unable to do where they were, and more about, hey, can he, whoever this may be, hopefully take us to the next level?
Okay, but I still think if we're looking at this situation as we need a leader of these men that is going to keep them fired up. I'm not sure that Harbaugh's the guy to do it. I never saw that in Baltimore. I've never seen that from John Harbaugh as being that guy that gets everyone amped and running through a wall for him. And then I thought, you know who kind of, at least for the fans, did, was Jeff Hafley. And I thought, okay, well, are we gonna still have Jeff Hafley after that game? Well, Matt LaFleur answered that.
I fully anticipate. I think Hafley's going to do a great job on the interview, and I fully anticipate him getting one of these. And I would be so happy for him because he deserves it.
And then I thought, okay, so would I even want Jeff Hafley as the head coach of the Green Bay Packers? I know a lot of people saying that that's very unrealistic. It doesn't seem like the Packers would elevate Hafley to head coach from DC, but it definitely makes it seem like if they don't, he's going to get a head coaching job somewhere. All right, so if we lose him, though, and he has that type of mentality, then I'm going, so then why didn't I want Jeff Hafley? What do I want? Who is out there right now that is going to be better than what I have? Who is going to make me as a fan feel like now that's a guy that these players are going to bust their ass for 4 quarters for? Who is that guy? I don't think it's Harbaugh. I don't think it's Matt LaFleur. I thought maybe Jeff Hafley, but I don't think he's an option. And everyone else has been telling me that some people have been saying that they don't even know that they want him to be the DC, even if he doesn't get a head coaching job in Green Bay next year. So I definitely don't think he's going to be the new head coach of this Green Bay Packers team, which leads me to think, as a realistic fan, whether I want it or not, because I can't decide what I want, that while Matt LaFleur might not get extended, he's definitely going to be the coach of this team next year.
That's Harbaugh or LaFleur?
LaFleur. That he'll be here for one more year, that he's going to have that year.
Well, he'll get extended. There's no way Matt LaFleur is allowed a lame duck season. That won't happen. He flat out came out and said that policy did. So either they're going to extend Matt LaFleur or he's going to get let go. He will not allow Matt LaFleur to go into this season as a lame duck head coach. And I don't blame him. That's the right call. The best part about not knowing what you want, Josh, is the ability to search. Because they may or may not know exactly what they want, but the best part about starting fresh is you get to learn along the way. Because the way it's been going, it ain't going to get better with Matt LaFleur. Somebody earlier texted that that's insanity, right? That's what happens when you expect the same thing over and over from the same person in a different result.
Yeah.
Complete insanity. So I think it's absolutely insane to think that we can keep Matt LaFleur and expect a different result. Therefore, we're going to have to go someplace else and see what the different result may look like and get better. Because let's assess that. Have we gotten better in the morning edition on a Monday of the Morning Mind Dump? I don't think so. How's the culture? This is all right from Matt LaFleur's mouth. Matt, culture. Tell me about the culture of the Green Bay Packers.
I don't think so, because when I take a look at the tape and I think objectively and you just watch it, and like I look at our play style and the effort and strain, and our guys are battling. It's not for lack of effort. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of their effort. I thought they battled their tails off, and unfortunately we just came up short.
Is that what culture means? Is your effort?
I didn't hear culture brought up once.
At all.
No.
He was asked if culture was a problem. I don't think so. I think their effort's just fine. That's not culture. Okay, how about Matt's ability to make adjustments? Did we do that?
Give them credit. They amped up their level of pressure, and we didn't adjust to it.
Why not?
We didn't adjust. Okay. Well, all right, Matt, then if you didn't make adjustments, now looking back, what adjustments would you have made?
All we have to do is block it the right way, and those aren't issues. Now, they do a nice job in some of the stunts that they did where it's a challenge sometimes passing those off, but multiple times when you have free runners, that's not good for anybody.
What?
What?
So the adjustment would have been to block the right way. That's what I heard him say. Okay. So why didn't they block the right way, Matt? It's your job to make sure they know what they're doing. It's your job to make sure that your coaching staff is giving the right pointers. It's your job to get all 11 people on the same page, which means you must have had a plan in place. Yes?
I don't ever want to put that all on our players. There were certainly some calls that you'd love to have back, but I also thought we had a lot of opportunities there too. And I mean, we got to get all 11 on the same page. That's ultimately my responsibility. And when they're not, it looks bad.
Real bad.
Yeah.
It looks really bad.
You know what it seemed like? It seemed like on that piece of paper, on that sheet that Matt LaFleur was hoping, it just was a drawn in crayon. It just said, hope. That's the plan. Hope. That's just.
Remember last week when I said hope was a strategy?
Yeah.
Told you.
Told me what? I told you it's not a good strategy. Doesn't work.
I didn't say it wasn't a good one. I said it was a strategy.
And I said it was an awful one. You can't rely on that. I need a plan. I need you to execute and draw out an actual plan, not just hope that things go right.
Well, he didn't get the memo. Listen, there's so many things from the game that we can analyze and prove that it's time to move on from Matt LaFleur. The biggest one, though, is something that we've been chasing with Coach LaFleur all season, this season for sure, if not his entire coaching tenure. I have no idea what class he flunked in coaching school that taught him how to manage a clock and manage timeouts. Absolutely horrendous in this game. Matt LaFleur on why the timeout with 2:08 left.
Chicago subbed, and so, the officials will hold it. We subbed we'd sent 2 D linemen in, and 3 came out. So now you're left with 10. So that's not acceptable, especially in the magnitude of that game, in any game, let alone a playoff game. But I mean, this isn't week 1, this is the playoffs. So you got to be at your best. Like I said, the margins are so slim, and you make mistakes like that. To have a timeout at the end of the game was critical, and we didn't have one.
Yeah, but I bet that didn't happen in practice. I bet you had a good week of practice. Bet you never had any of those problems happen at practice.
What I thought was interesting about Matt in his timeouts and all that, and then with the blocking too, Josh, he blamed the players far more in his presser yesterday than I've heard him do in years. Well, we got to block it right. Yeah. We got to sub right. All right, bud. Like that, is that you punting? No pun intended. It sounds like he's punting. That timeout with 2 minutes and 8 seconds left in the game was the second timeout the Packers called in less than a minute. Matt LaFleur called the timeout at 3:02. And then coming out of that timeout on 3rd and 10 from the Chicago 21, 1 yard away from the red zone, there's a delay of game penalty on the Packers. Guess what, Coach? That had nothing to do with them blocking right.
Nope.
That had nothing to do with them subbing right. You had all the time in the world when you called the timeout, Coach, to get the play right, to get the communication right, to get all 11 players on the same page. And out of that timeout that you called, Coach, you got a delay of game penalty. That is the mental lapse that the Packers could not have, and it came from the head coach.
And that's happened before. That's the other thing, too. It's not like this is a one-off. We can all remember multiple times over Matt LaFleur's tenure where he has burned a timeout and then they have gone into a delay of game situation. That's a coaching issue that has been here the whole time.
The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line, 414-677-1250. What is your feedback? Where do you want to go? Who do you want to hire? The 715 says, I have no doubt of his coaching abilities, but I feel like he's lost the locker room, the players, and now the fan. It's time to move on from LaFleur and the coaching staff and bring on Harbaugh. If Harbaugh comes in as head coach, yes, this is futuristic thinking. It's also a prayer. If Harbaugh comes in as head coach, Josh, who do you want as the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator?
I don't even know. So I'm assuming Hafley's gone.
Right? Yeah, I would assume that the whole staff is gone.
Yeah.
It's a refresh. Everybody's gone.
So then that's my point. I have no idea. I don't know who's out there. I don't know. I can tell you that I still feel like this team needs someone on the coaching staff that is a little bit more vocal, a little bit more crazy, right? I think that Packers fans hated seeing Ben Johnson rip his shirt off in that locker room and get those guys going crazy, knowing our head coach would never do that, regardless of what the situation was. I mean, and trust me, after this game, seeing the way that Ben Johnson reacted, that guy can go fly a kite. But I would love to have a little bit of that in the coaching staff. I'd prefer the head coach of the Green Bay Packers. And so regardless of who it is, they need to have that fire, that spark, someone to smack guys around and get them pumped up.
Nate in North Milwaukee. Matt is soft as a head coach. Ben Johnson took shots at him all season long and basically bullied Matt. Nate sees no fire, no fight back from Matt LaFleur. As long as he's here, our team will not have any fire or fight back.
Yeah. Listen, and he's been that way his whole career. The reason why the Packers have been successful in the division against the Bears, against the Lions, against the Vikings for so long is not because of Matt LaFleur. It's because of the pure talent on this team. It is not because these players were amped up, fired up, wanting to win for their coach, in the mindset that we've seen from some of these other coaches, specifically in the division, right? Like, if you look at the division, Trevor, you just look at the NFC North, you would not think, if you were a player, yeah, the Packers, that's the team that's going to get me motivated to play all four quarters. It's just not. No. It hasn't been for a long time.
Well, but remember, we improved in the NFC North, says Ed Policy. Big improvement from last year. The 414,
like it.
You're right. The 414 says, we aren't talking about this right now. If our kicker makes their field goals at the very least, we win on a last-second field goal. If Jaden Reed catches a perfect ball thrown his way, if Watson catches a difficult but catchable ball, we're not talking about this. Here's the problem. Yes, we are. Because the fact that game got down to the point where those kicks mattered, those catches mattered, that's the asinine part about all this. When you're up 21-3 at halftime and lose the way you did after only scoring 6 points in an entire half and allowing that team to come back the way they've done, not only against us, but other teams, that's the problem. You're right. We're not talking about this if those things happen. Why? Because they probably didn't matter. But the fact that a missed field goal, a missed extra point, a dropped pass or at least a not caught pass. The fact that those things mattered in this game is the problem.
Bingo. It should have never have gotten to that point. All of those things that you're worried about, Texter, is they shouldn't have existed. The Packers should have came out second half with the ball and continued the onslaught that they had the whole first half. They had a beautiful first half of football and then went as far in the opposite direction as you possibly can go in the second half. And then it was, oh crap, we're going to lose this game. And suddenly they start being aggressive again and making those catches, and Matthew Golden gets involved, and you start, you get that late touchdown. That they come out with that same energy to start the second half. Doesn't matter about a field goal or a missed extra point because you're up by 30. Doesn't matter.
Brian from New Berlin, screw it. Bring John Gruden back. Why not?
No.
I feel that way. That's come out of my mouth. Why not?
See, that's what I'm saying. To me, that's an overreaction because you're going anybody but LaFleur.
Well, that's what this is for. I literally, Josh, I am going anyone but LaFleur. Absolutely. Anybody but Matt LaFleur can do better with this team right now. Anybody with a brain and some head coaching experience in the NFL that knows how to put a team together and motivate players. That's what I'm saying. Anybody would be better for this Green Bay Packers team than Matt LaFleur. So here's my dream team, my dream three. John Harbaugh, number one, head coach. This is just in the moment right now.
Yep.
Number two, offensive coordinator, Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, I think the hottest potential OC out there right now.
Do you think that the Green Bay Packers are the hottest place to land for these guys?
I mean, I thought that the Lions were actually already talking to him after he got fired. So, yeah, I'm potentially, it would be hard to argue against.
LaFleur says it's one of one. And here's my defensive coordinator, and I said this yesterday to multiple people, and I have proof. Our defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, the next defensive coordinator, knowing and praying that Matt LaFleur should be fired, and therefore there goes his staff with him if Hafley even doesn't get a head coaching job, it needs to be Jim Leonard. We need to call Jim Leonard, call the Denver Broncos, ask permission, and bring that cat home. Jim Leonard should have already been the defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, turned it down because he was under the impression that he was going to be the head coach of the Wisconsin Badgers. Whoops. Clearly, he knows ball. Look at Denver's defense. Let's get Jim Leonard back in Wisconsin and the Green Bay Packers. The good, the bad, the ugly when we get back. There's at least one in each category. Believe it or not, there is something good to talk about, and it's not Romeo Dobbs. We'll get to that next. We're inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. You don't want to miss 9 to noon with former Packers fullback John Kuhn and Rami Makloff today, as they will announce 2 new shows coming here to the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Tune in at 9 a.m. for all of the information and details on when you'll get to find out about the 2 new shows coming here to the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Inside Wisconsin Sports, Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. The good, the bad, and the ugly from the game on Saturday. There actually is a few pieces of good news to grab, but the main one in my eyes, well, look who decided to show up. Matthew Golden.
From the 23, pass to the outside. Finding room here. Golden is inside the 10, and Golden will go into the end zone for the touchdown. So Matthew Golden, their number 1 pick, who did not have a single touchdown during the regular season, picks an opportune time for number 1.
Thought that was interesting because Adam Stenavich came out and said that Matthew Golden wasn't going to be a weapon in the playoffs. I wanted to go grab a Maury Povich soundbite and go, and that was a lie.
It turns out that was a lie. Yeah. And that's a perfect tie-in to what I just asked you during the break. Like, what did Stenavich do on this team? Like, what was his role? If he's not calling plays for the offense, right? Like Matt LaFleur is doing that. Did Adam Stenavich just have like the easiest job ever? Like he just gets to sit there and then not get blamed for anything? Like, it sounds perfect.
Well, the crazy part, between him and all of the rest of the offense, there are position coaches in between. So if he doesn't call the plays and he's not specifically coaching, I think he spends a lot of time in the quarterback room, to be honest. That's where I think he spends the majority of his time. He looked at the wide receiver room and came out and talked about it. Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson. After that, everyone else.
Yeah.
Therefore, he didn't think Matthew Golden was going to have much of a role in the playoffs. And then he does what he did late in that game. And I literally looked to my buddy Darren and I said, of course, Matthew Golden.
Yeah.
That's where this is at.
Absolutely. I do have to say, and there have been a few people that have chimed in, and I'm not telling anyone how to fan, but I could not disagree more with anyone who is saying that Jordan Love was part of the problem. I don't know what else you could ask for from Jordan Love. Jordan Love played an amazing game. I think there was one play the whole game that I went, what are you doing? And it was when, I think it was like a 3rd and 2, and he had space to run, and he didn't run. Besides that one play, Jordan Love did everything we wanted and more. He definitely goes in the good category.
He did not have a great performance coming out from halftime, and I feel like that goes a little bit into why the defense played as bad as they did in the second half. If you look just at the first few possessions of the Packers in the second half, 3 and out.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say out, I mean no net yards on our first 3 plays coming into the second half. Punt. Next possession, 3 plays, 8 net yards. Punt. Third possession, we punted with 35 seconds left. 6 plays, 17 net yards. Punt. Fourth quarter, Green Bay, 3 plays, minus 10 net yards. Punt. The only situation where they looked like they had a hill of beans to play off of was that Matthew Golden touchdown, 6 plays and 54 yards. Love to Golden. Whoopsie poopsie. Missed the extra point. On to the bad. And if I had to pick one in this game, I've picked him before. And if he's still on the team next year, I will tell you straight out of the gate, he'll be the easiest to pick next year. Keyshawn Nixon needs to go away.
And the flag comes in. penalty on Keyshawn Nixon.
Yeah, we'll show you the penalty on Nixon where he comes in late, jumps into the pile. And there's 25 going up and over late, and that's where the penalty came in.
So stupid.
Dumb. Just dumb.
There's always
and
one.
that's coaching. I think that's coaching. What'd you say?
I said there's always been one. Every game, there's at least one time where you go, what is Nixon doing? At least once. Every game. Sometimes he makes up for it. There's always one.
Keyshawn Nixon in the 2025 season was flagged 14 times. 11 of those penalties were accepted and or enforced for a total of 92 yards to the opposing team. And it seems to me like we could chalk that up to a lack of composure. That has nothing to do with the execution of the game. That is straight up composure. And I believe that's on the leader of the team. Keyshawn Nixon has more mental lapses than the rest of the defense combined. Who else had a mental lapse on the defensive end of the ball this year? Can you think of a time when somebody on the defense put themselves out there so poorly that you went, oh, man, come on, get it together?
Yeah, Gary. Rashawn Gary. There was literally, I think Andy Herman, who we're going to talk to in the 8 o'clock hour, actually had a clip of Rashawn Gary just straight up giving up on a play, chasing Caleb Williams, just assuming, I guess, that he was going to run out of bounds, then realizing he wasn't after he had already completely slowed down. I cannot wait for Rashawn Gary to be gone.
Yeah, there's pretty little to zero chance he's going to be back. Back to Keyshawn Nixon for a second. Did you see this video floating around? The business decision that he made not to attempt, I don't know, anything remotely close to a tackle.
Yep.
It was late in the game. It was on the Chicago rushing touchdown, I believe with, let me think about this. Was it 6-ish minutes left in the game?
Sounds right.
It wasn't the touchdown that gave them the lead. It was a huge play in the game that kept Chicago in their strategic output of hope. And I don't know if you saw it or not, but there was multiple people on social media after that play surfaced that went, wow. Not only did he not try to make a tackle, but he didn't try to punch the ball out. He literally jumped out of the way. What?
Yeah. That's why they're saying a business decision. Now, and what does that come down to? When you have players like that make decisions in the moment like that, what does that say about the leadership of that team?
That it's ugly. Right. That's what's coming next. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, your thoughts continue to pour in on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. It is 7:38 Central Standard Time. Why does Matt LaFleur still have a job? Somebody should have texted me by now. Somebody should have tweeted. Somebody on this big-ass TV should have finally already said that Matt LaFleur has been relieved of his duties. What is taking so long? We'll talk more about the ugliest part of the game. That's Matt LaFleur when we come back. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Somebody give me Policy's phone number right now. Holy crap. There's the news.
What?
Adam Schefter, 23 seconds ago. Packers now are expected to try to work out a deal in the coming days to keep head coach Matt LaFleur in Green Bay, per sources. I can't. I don't get it. I don't understand. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Matt LaFleur is the ugliest thing about this team right now.
Oh, boy.
It's the ugliest thing. Listen to what James Jones had to say on a speakeasy show after the game on Saturday night. Listen to this.
The way the Packers have finished the last couple years, losing so many close games, you get into the playoffs. At halftime, you have a 21-3 lead. Not against a team that's better than you. Against a team that you are better than. You wasn't playing the champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. You wasn't playing the Patty Mahomes, Kansas City. You was playing Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears and Ben Johnson's first season, that a team that you are better than, and you give up a 21-3 lead at the half. It's going to be a different conversation. I think Coach LaFleur, his seat just got real hot on that bus.
Yeah.
As he's getting on that bus right now, his seat just got real hot. When Goody talked to him at that meeting, I don't know how you let him walk back in the room.
Apparently pretty easily.
Unreal, man.
This is so crazy for a few reasons. First, this is exactly what I thought would happen, right? It's what I said at the top of 7. When I'm trying to decide what I want, what I think is going to happen is that he's still going to be here. Now, what I said is that I thought policy would be smart enough to go, but you got a short leash. I'm going to give you that lame duck year. I'm going to give you one more shot, or I'm going to, something's got to change. And apparently, no, not the case. They're gonna work on a way to keep him here for a while. Now, that being said, there's nothing guaranteeing that if he comes back next year and the same things happen again, that policy can't go, yeah, all right, doesn't matter, we're moving on. But this is what I was afraid was going to be the case, and now I think this is just a terrible look for Ed Policy. This is a really rough way for Ed Policy to start his tenure in Green Bay.
Adam Schefter, 2 minutes ago via X.com. Packers are now expected to try to work out a deal in the coming days to keep head coach Matt LaFleur in Green Bay, per sources. There's some key words here that I'm going to read into because it's the only thing I have in regards to grasping at straws to hope to God this doesn't happen. Packers are now expected to try to work out a deal in the coming days to keep head coach Matt LaFleur in Green Bay, which means there's a chance that it doesn't work out. There's a chance that maybe he gets a year extension and that he doesn't take it. Maybe there's a chance that the terms don't make sense to Matt LaFleur and he doesn't think that this is a good deal for him. I do not understand this mindset because I don't understand what Matt LaFleur has shown the Green Bay Packers, us as fans, what he could possibly have left in his bag of tricks. Where's the bunny, buddy?
No. And you can't tell me that it's going to be a piece that they're going to put around Matt LaFleur because they had that. Jeff Hafley was that this year. Didn't matter. It didn't matter. You can't. Okay. All right. Let me ask you this. Hypothetical. Do you think there's any way that they say when they're the chance of them trying to figure this all out, that policy says, but you're not calling the play, like he takes something away from him?
Well, how do you do that? How does the president / pseudo owner of a team go, you can stay, but you can't do this anymore, or you can't do that? It's got to be at this level of football, all or nothing. You either trust the guy to do the job, and that's why you're going to keep him here, or you make him go away. The on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. This news is completely unfathomable. Been a Packers fan since 1979. I will no longer watch a single game with Matt LaFleur at the helm. The 414, in that case, bye.
Yeah, but no. Here's going to be the frustrating thing. If this does play out and they extend Matt LaFleur, here's going to be the most frustrating thing. You're going to see a team on paper with the best talent in the NFL. You're going to see the Packers. You're going to see Goody cutting the fat, getting rid of Gary, bringing in some new guys. I have full faith in Brian Gutekunst to continue to do what he's done and put together an amazing team on paper that is going to completely be unmotivated and fall short again because of coaching. I don't think that they'll be the 7th seed. I don't think that they'll, just be a one and done, but they're not getting to the promised land. Maybe they get out of the wild card round next year, but they'll be doing that with a Super Bowl caliber team. And that's really rough. That's super rough.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. What is your reaction to Adam Schefter's tweet just a mere 6 minutes ago that the Packers are now expected to try to work out a deal in the coming days to keep head coach Matt LaFleur in Green Bay, per sources? So many things came out of Matt LaFleur's mouth in his end-of-season presser yesterday that I chose not to cut up because I didn't think it was going to matter. He talked about all the things that he needs to work on, all the changes that he thinks need to happen, all the adjustments, all down to, and we'll play this for you tomorrow, down to how he thinks they need to train differently, what practice needs to look like. All out of the gate. The only way this makes sense is if they renegotiate his deal. And mark my words, Matt LaFleur will be the next head coach of the Green Bay Packers to be fired within the season. And it could come as early as next year. Josh, to your point, if he gets all of that talent back and is the same old Matt LaFleur, which we have no reason to believe he's going to be someone different, then he's gone if this doesn't go well by week 4.
See, and this also proves to me that Ed Policy didn't see anyone else, Harbaugh, and there was no one else out there that he thought was worth moving on from Matt LaFleur. So that's why, and this is what's frustrating with Ed Policy. Let's take a minute to just talk about Ed Policy, right? If Ed Policy comes out at the beginning of the season and his, hey, welcome to Green Bay and taking the helm presser and says, no one is safe. No job is secure right now. I expect to see change or no one's getting extended. To then have this type of season and performance from Matt LaFleur and then to then say, well, we're going to try to make things work with Matt. Okay, well, now I'm doubting you and not believing you because you said to start the season that this was unacceptable. Okay, well, here it is. Rubber met the road. Make a decision. And this is a decision you made. Now I'm judging you on it. Ed Policy doesn't get a free pass here. Absolutely not. He has to wear this too.
I said to a buddy via text last night, if he doesn't get fired, I will instantly lose all faith in Policy's ability to make the tough decisions needed in that position. That's back to when Murphy was in his first year able to make the hard decision to move on from Brett Favre. He stuck to his guns. Ed Policy has decided, per sources via Adam Schefter, that is not the decision he believes the Green Bay Packers need to make at this current time.
Now, I think it's important that we also just make sure everyone knows that this is not official. There's nothing that is said that the Packers have extended Matt LaFleur.
Right, that's what I was saying. Try to work out a deal in the coming days.
Correct.
Keyword try.
Right. So it seems like what we're taking from today is you will not hear the news today that the Packers are moving on from Matt LaFleur. That
doesn't sound like
you're not going to hear. There's still a
Doesn't
chance
sound-
you might hear it tomorrow, though. There's still a chance.
Well, and there's probably a chance that we're not going to hear today that he's worked out a new deal. It says in the coming days.
Right.
Oh, this is my worst nightmare. This is my worst nightmare. I did not really think that this was a chance. I really thought he was going to be gone.
Yeah, I definitely. This is what I thought was going to happen. I just thought it wasn't going to be an extension. I thought he was going to give him, all right, Matt, one last chance. I'm going to give you one more.
We'll be back.
It's time for today's fan weather forecast, brought to you by Habish, and Rotier. It's a sunny day here in Milwaukee with a high of 41 degrees. It's currently 27. This has been your Habish, and Rotier fan weather forecast.
I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up from home. Whoa!
Bob looking. One last gasp. Moving guys around. Fires to the end zone, and it is broken up. The Bears win it in a crazy one.
Well, obviously, this one is going to hurt for a really, really long time. When you are in complete control of a football game and the script gets flipped in the second half, and it was a lot of self-inflicted things. And give credit to them. We knew they were a team that could come back and fight. They proved it all season long, and we had opportunities to kind of put them away, and we didn't get it done.
Sure didn't. Neither did Ed Policy.
Oh, man.
Yes. As if my morning could get worse. Seriously. How? I did not. Hey, what's up, Wisconsin? How we doing? Inside Wisconsin Sports, Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, where I would have bet all of the dollars that said we were going to move on from Matt LaFleur this morning.
Yeah.
Nope. According to Adam Schefter, who, by the way, on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250, somebody in the 414 says Schefter has been wrong before, you guys. Okay. 19 minutes ago, Adam Schefter tweets, Packers are now expected to try to work out a deal in the coming days to keep I can't even say it, to keep head coach Matt LaFleur in Green Bay, per sources. Then 16 minutes ago, a mere 13 minutes after that original tweet, he says, and this is where the strategy of hope is coming in, Matt LaFleur currently has 1 year remaining on his contract. Both sides want clarity moving forward. Cue up that scene from Something About Mary. So you're saying there's a chance. Is that it? Or is that Dumb and Dumber? So you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah.
Because if we both want clarity moving forward, I have one very simple question. Why should we keep you?
I just got to say, this is when you're an optimist, when you live in the world of optimism, and then you look and there's nothing to be optimistic about, this is where you see this Trevor Thomas. This is what I'm saying. I live in a realism world where we both wanted the same thing. I just didn't see it happening. I went, yeah, I would be stunned if the Packers really, truly moved on. It's what I want. I don't know who I wanted to replace him, but it's what I wanted. I rarely get what I want. So I'm not surprised. I'm a little worried about you, Trev. I'm a little worried about you right now.
Badgers 91, Michigan 88. What a win for Bucky.
Oh boy. We are completely off the rails, folks. We are in trouble.
What in the world are we doing? I don't understand.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Our guy, friend of the program, Matt Schneidman, put out a tweet over the weekend.
Yeah.
The Packers led by 10 in Cleveland, by 13 in Dallas, by 9 in Denver, 10 in Chicago the first time, and 18 on Saturday night. And they didn't win any of those games. None.
Yeah.
Cleveland, Dallas, Denver, Chicago part 1, Chicago part 2. Not a single victory came out of those games. And all year, we've been saying injuries aren't an excuse. It's next man up. It's got to be this way in the league. Well, then what the hell is the excuse from Ed Policy that we're keeping Matt LaFleur? It blows my ever-living mind. I do not understand. Somebody tell me what I'm missing. Let's go to the phones, Josh.
Yeah, this is Ron in De Pere. Ron, welcome.
Hey, good morning, guys. I want to say, hey, first of all, love the show. Got turned on to it by my buddy Mike Schmidt, and it's been really good to listen to the cadness that you guys have. Trevor used to hang out with you a little bit, but when our friend Jeff Royal was still with us and was my neighbor a dozen years ago. But hey,
thanhanks, man. We appreciate the kind words.
Absolutely. So, unique perspective from me. I go to every home game, season ticket holder, and I decided at the last minute to go watch this game. And so, because of the cost involved with those tickets, we sat in the 400 level, 50-yard line, got to really see the game. I know I am somewhat of an internal optimist, and I think the one thing that I took away from it is the fact that yes, we had a lot of guys that are on the injured reserve, like 15, 16 guys or whatever, a lot of difference makers, a lot of guys that could actually make things happen. But we were winning the game at halftime. Well, the that I saw is because of the fact that I drove 3 other guys down, and different than most Packer games, I was completely sober. So I actually, and having played football at the college level, I've sat down and broke a lot of film down. So what I was concerned with was the fact of we did not make adjustments in the second half, meaning that when we had guys in the game, you knew it was going to be a run or you knew it was going to be a pass. And so I believe that the Bears had the same thought process. When Brooks is in the game, he got the ball one time. Wilson was in the game. He got the ball one time. So when Josh was in and out of the game, you knew what to lean on. So and I was watching it schematically. You could watch the defense change they would not put on pressure, or if they would play zone back. So you're putting your wide receivers in difficult positions, and they wouldn't throw if Musgrave. I mean, he get the ball one time. I mean, you knew what was coming. So they did not change it up. I mean, what was really odd, and I told my buddy that was sitting next to me, I was like, hey, when Jacobs is in the game, because watching it in the first half, when they'd hand off going left, Jordan would boot out to the right side, and they were selling out on the run when Josh was in the game. So linebackers were flowing, D-backs were even flowing. He could have booted out in the second half. They needed to change it up. So I'm not saying that there's Matt should be fired. Matt needs to make changes, or Adam Stenovich needs to make changes in second half. So if we go ahead and score, we go 3-0 in the first 2 series. They did not boot out. They did not when Wilson's in the game. They did not change it up. They went to pass. So I mean, any good coach on the other side of the ball is going to see that, and they made those adjustments. That wasn't a team that was better than us. That team decided to make adjustments, which we did not do almost all year in the second half. So I don't know if you have to get a liaison or somebody else that's an assistant that has to sit with these guys at halftime and say, hey, we're going to make adjustments based on what we saw in the first half, because they just don't do that. So you could say it's coach, and I realize that, but that's the same coach that put you up 21-3 in the first half with a really good call game. Maybe you have to go on a second half. Maybe you have to go to a scheduled play count. I mean, there's got to be something different there. But I don't think you fire the guy because of it.
Rod, thank you. Oh God. Okay.
Ron, I got him.
I got him.
Greatest call ever.
3 minutes without a breath.
And yeah, he's a marathon runner, that Ron. He knows what he's doing. And what I heard him say was, yeah, maybe, but maybe not. But maybe we probably should, but you can't fire him for this reason, but we definitely try to fire him for that reason.
Let me list all the reasons why you should fire him, but then maybe you just hire someone else to hold his hand instead of. No, that was the whole argument of why he should be gone.
He's not wrong. What's Andy Herman going to say?
I don't know. I can't wait to hear what Andy
I
Herman's
feel like
gonna
he's
say.
pretty level-headed. Like somebody on the Nicolay Law fan talking text line. Thanks for buzzing in, by the way, Ron. We appreciate that. Somebody said policy will probably keep him, but I'm not uncertain the terms will not come between them. That's an interesting take. What will these terms be?
Yeah, what does that mean? Also, do you think that if he does bring them back, like, there's no way that everything can just stay exactly as it is, right? Like, if they keep Matt LaFleur, they can't keep Bisaccia, especially if you know that Hafley's gone. Do you keep Stenavich? Like, is it just Matt and then you replace everyone around him? And I still would like to know what the offensive coordinator's role is if Matt LaFleur is going to keep having the role he has, right? Like, I've had a lot of people say, get rid of Stenavich, bring in McDaniel or someone else to be the OC for Matt LaFleur. First, I don't know why Mike McDaniel would take that role if Matt LaFleur holds all the power with offense. Essentially, you're making the OC a glorified quarterbacks coach. Like, that's what I'm confused. I'm confused on all of that.
In case you missed it, Adam Schefter came out this morning, half hour-ish ago, and said that the Packers and Matt LaFleur are expected to try to work out a deal in the coming days to keep head coach Matt LaFleur in Green Bay. Somebody tweeted in from the 920 and puts it best. The only deal that we should work out for Matt LaFleur is to hire him a moving company.
What are you going to do if the news comes out Wednesday, Thursday, that like just the Packers completely give in to Matt LaFleur? They give him a big extension. They give him everything. Like, do I need to have someone on standby there in Green Bay for you?
Ooh, I didn't check my heart rate. Where am I at?
Oh, I'm sure it's gone down a little bit now,
good.
but you for a minute there. If you're not watching us, by the way, on Twitter and YouTube at WI Sports Radio, you missed out. You missed out because that news broke live during the show. I saw the look in Trevor's eyes when he read that tweet, and just he's going through it. You're going through it right now, bud.
I'm floored, man. Well, everybody knows me and the guarantees aren't friends, although I thought that was a joke, but some of you didn't take it as a joke.
Sure didn't.
I literally could have guaranteed that this wasn't going to happen this way. I'm floored. I did not see this coming. I would have never said that I thought this was coming. I understand some of the arguments. I understand about the idea of the injuries. I understand that this wasn't the season the way it started. I get it. But if we can sit at that podium and tell me all year that injuries are an excuse, and then after the season say, well, but look at the injuries. Well, then what do we want? What do we want? Do you want us to mail it? Should we have mailed it in after all the injuries? Where was Matthew Golden the entire season to come out of the woodwork like that? The first play of the game was a sweep, and it got 14 yards.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of abnormalities in a season. This I understand. But the abnormality to think that we're going to be able to keep the same guy in charge and expect a different result, I just don't get.
I think you got to take a step. You got to go a step further, too. Like, just don't even base it on this game. The Packers are the furthest away team in the NFC North to have won a division. The Bears, the Lions twice, and then the Vikings have all won the division more recently than the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers have not won the division in now 4 seasons. It has been 5 years since the Packers have won the division. That's what happened to like the championship mentality football. We keep talking about a Super Bowl, and this team doesn't care about, what the divisional games mean. It's right. That's all I heard. This wasn't the Packers Super Bowl. The Packers play for the actual Super Bowl. Do they? They haven't won the division since 2021. They've been the 7th seed or not in the playoffs since 2021. Is that really where, or are we just fooling ourselves? And I feel like this decision to keep Matt LaFleur is the proof. The proof is in the pudding. If you're really going to say that this team cares about winning it all, okay, well, the first step is to win your division, to beat the other teams in your division, which you haven't done in 4 years. I think we need to take a bigger step back and go, something is wrong within the organization if these are the moves, and we're talking a lot of talk, but the standard has changed a lot.
If between now and whenever Matt LaFleur signs his new deal, if Rich Bisaccia isn't fired in the next 3 seconds, I have way more questions than this 3-hour radio program has time for, and frankly could use the FCC rules to go to the side. That's what they made the internet for. Okay, let's check in with Andy Herman from the Pack a Day podcast. He joins us next. Maybe he'll be able to help us understand what the thinking is behind the report from Adam Schefter. Breaking news within the last half an hour. Packers are now expected to try to work out a deal in the coming days to keep head coach Matt LaFleur in Green Bay, per sources. Oh, here we go. Real quick, 41 seconds ago, in real time. The Packers' first key decision has been made. It should be noted they both still need to find common ground and agree to said deal, but this should result in some sort of extension for LaFleur. Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Somebody get Shefty on the line.
Oh, boy.
darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
It's just the way it's going to be. Huh?
Because a vision softly creeping.
I kind of want the Disturbed version.
Yeah, no, I wasn't going to give you that.
Yeah. All right. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. In case you missed it, apparently there's not silence over at 1265.
Kind of missed the silence, huh?
Yeah, no, I wish it was silent. Adam Schefter reported in the last hour that the Packers are now expected to try to work out a deal in the coming days to keep head coach Matt LaFleur in Green Bay. Per sources, he goes on to say here that Matt LaFleur currently has 1 year remaining in his contract, and both sides want clarity moving forward. He also came out and said that they're apparently going to have a conversation over the next few days and figure out what those terms look like.
God.
The Packers' first key decision has been made. It should be noted they both still need to find common ground and agree to said deal, but this should result in some sort of extension for LaFleur. The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Our guy, Andy Herman. Follow him on Twitter at Andy Herman NFL, the Pack a Day podcast. Andy, I cannot make sense of this. Help us understand why Ed Policy believes that this is the right move for the Green Bay Packers right now.
Well, good to see you guys. First of all, I wish we were talking about a victory Monday. We unfortunately are not. So obviously, the big news is Matt LaFleur, and the big conversation point has been Matt LaFleur. I'll start by saying, for the first time, really ever, I certainly came around to the idea after a loss like that maybe it is time to go in a different direction. And I understand why anybody would be maybe frustrated with this decision to some extent. What I will say is this: if you're looking for the ultimate smoking gun of why you make this decision, and again, it should be noted that just because both sides want to get this done doesn't necessarily mean that it does get done. There is still room. If you've kind of listened to or seen some of the Rappaport and some of the other tweets, there seems to be this number that keeps getting thrown around of around 15 million. Will Green Bay be willing to go to that much and things like that? There's also, I think, a piece of this on the flip side that I'm sure a lot of fans don't want to hear about, especially if they want Matt gone, of Matt is going to demand a high contract. So it's not just that you're, bringing him back. It's that Matt is actually, in the weirdest sort of ways, actually has a ton of leverage in this situation to try to get way more money in this situation as well. To ultimately answer your question is I put together a list of the coaches that I would want to interview for the job. I'm not saying hire, but interview for the job. Coaches like John Harbaugh, Kevin Stefanski, Robert Saleh, Jesse Minter, Joe Brady, Brian Flores, Mike McDaniel, Jeff Hafley, Anthony Campanelli. We can go on and on. There's a handful more that I had on there as well. Clint Kubiak. The truth of the matter is, of all the coaches that are out there and available, if you are an expansion team, if you are not the Green Bay Packers, if you were anybody else, and Matt LaFleur is available on that list, he is unequivocally, to me, the number one head coach on the open market on that current list of coaches. So I understand that you are not an expansion team, that you are the Green Bay Packers, that you just lost an embarrassing fashion again in the playoffs, and that there hasn't been the signs of progress that we want to see, that there haven't been the playoff victories, that he was 3-10 against playoff teams in the last 2 years combined. There's a lot of things that you can point to if you are frustrated and you are disappointed as to why you want to make a change. And I think that my answer here would ultimately be why Green Bay is making this decision is change for the sake of change is not always good. And you might have the best option of the available options right now in hand. And even if that is a frustrating option, Again, changing to somebody else and potentially making it worse might not be a better option. And I think now the question is going to be, what does that extension look like? And what I would really look at, if this is a 1-year extension, right? It means nothing. It means that he is coaching for his job next year, and you give him that one last year with hopefully a healthy roster to see what he can do. And he's got the heat of a billion suns on his coaching seat, and he knows that next year is basically a do or die year. If it's a 2-year extension, for the most part, it's the same. It probably looks that way. He gets a little bit more, sort of guaranteed money if he gets fired after this year. But you're ultimately saying, hey, we need to see something more from you, or there's going to be a real chance that we can and will move on again at the end of next year. If it's a 3 or more year extension, then all right, they're not messing around. He's their guy, and he's going to be here for probably more than just next season, unless something absolutely catastrophic happens.
Okay, so Andy, I need your help here with our boy Trevor, though, because he's going through it right now.
Yeah.
So give me a positive silver lining, something to how this coaching staff and the mentality of this team looks different if they keep Matt LaFleur. Because the only thing that I feel like we all are pretty assuming is that Jeff Hafley won't be back, because he's going to get a head coaching job somewhere. So if that's the case, if Ed Policy brings back Matt LaFleur, if they do get this deal done, what change does take place in a positive way within this Packers organization?
Yeah, I think no matter what, Matt individually is going to have to make improvements and look inward as to what he can do to add a level of, I think, physical toughness, a level of mental toughness, to continue to work on player improvement, to figure out ways to make this offensive line play with a different sort of demeanor, and to just, when you have leads, go for the kill. And again, when you get in huge games, to be able to find those things. So again, that's going to be something that internally he has to figure out solutions to in some way, shape, or form. As far as the rest of the coaching staff goes, I agree with Matt that I think Jeff Hafley is going to interview very well. I personally do not see this as a foregone conclusion that Jeff Hafley gets a head coaching job. And I still put it at about a coin slip chance that he is back next year. I know he's got 5 interviews. I know he's going to interview very well. We see him at the podium every single week. But I don't think this is another one of those just like can't miss candidates. And I think there's a real chance that he ends up not getting a head coaching job. But we'll see there. If he is gone, you have what I would not want to see is, DeMarcus Covington or Derek Ansley or somebody from the current coaching staff promoted. I think you need to add, something different. Christian Parker from the Philadelphia Eagles, who works under Vic Fangio, who interviewed last time, I think would be a name I would look at. The name I would expect, assuming that this person does not get a head coaching job elsewhere, is Raheem Morris, the Atlanta Falcons head coach and former defensive coordinator, who has a ton of connections with Matt. I would be pretty surprised, barring Morris getting a head coaching job or just getting a more lucrative defensive coordinator job elsewhere, that Raheem Morris would not be the defensive coordinator for the Packers. So that'd be the move that I would kind of be looking at there. And then the other things that I would look at are, of course, special teams coordinator. If I had to guess, I have a feeling that this is going to be some sort of mutual parting of ways or a retirement for Rich Bisaccia. He almost retired last year. And then they worked out an extension and gave him a raise for some reason. That was my most shocking move of the offseason last year. And it still is to this day. I don't know why that was a thing that had to happen, but I would still think, I think the thing that would be most frustrating to me is if all of a sudden just like Rich Bisaccia is back and there's no changes there. And then the other thing that I would really look at too is offensive line coach. This offensive line underachieved through the entirety of the season. You inputted a first-round pick from last year in Jordan Morgan, a second round pick in Anthony Belton last year, a huge contract to Aaron Banks. Elton Jenkins looked like a shell of himself when he was in there, and we didn't see much improvement from anybody. Even when Zach Tom, although I think it was in large part due to injuries, even Zach Tom, who played well, I don't think played up to his normal standard. That would be another big one where I think there needs to be changes made. So what happens at defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, offensive line coach, those would be, I think, the big ones to really keep an eye on if, in fact, Matt does stay.
Andy Herman, the Pack a Day podcast, joining us on Inside Wisconsin Sports. If we see the words like Rich Bisaccia promoted, I don't care if it's to janitor, I will lose my ever-living mind. What I don't understand, Andy, is what should we expect to be different?
Mm-hmm.
The same conversation has been happening year after year. I understand the injury bug. There's no getting away from it. Totally get it. I wish they would have come out and been true and said, guys, recovering from that much adversity in the injury category is next to impossible, and yet we still almost beat the Bears in the playoffs. But the problem is that we can't finish. We heard that loud and clear from the locker room. We're going to play all sorts of audio tomorrow about players believing that this is a team that cannot finish and that, according to Javon Bullard, they need to fix that stuff.
Yep.
So how are they going to fix that stuff with Matt LaFleur? Because that's where I'm stuck.
Yeah, I don't have a good answer for you. It's going to, and I think that there's almost a fan base and maybe even a locker room that is just scarred right now. And it was Ashley Mangold on Twitter who tweeted out, like, where you need to know where this franchise is right now is when the entire fan base up 21-3 at halftime is not comfortable, right? Is like nervous to the point of like, oh my God, it's like the 21-3 lead in the playoffs at half. And you're almost more nervous than you are if it was like a tie game at halftime. Like that tells you that there is something inherently wrong. If that game was at Lambeau Field, there would have been a bunch of clenched butts in the stadium at Lambeau Field. And I think just nervous energy, because we have been scarred so many times, not just in the Matt LaFleur era, but certainly still in the Matt LaFleur era as well, of games exactly like this. And we saw it in multiple times this year where they had big leads in the second half, in the fourth quarter, and they couldn't finish games. So I wish I had an answer for you to say, yes, this is why you can feel confident in why this will get fixed or how this will get fixed. I know having a closer like Micah Parsons will help a ton in those situations. He certainly did earlier in the year. If you're looking for positives, again, I think the fact that this was a team that was on a 4-game win streak, was about to be in a 5-game win streak going into Denver. If they finish that game, and if probably Micah and the Watson play and stuff like that don't happen, you have a real chance to go into there and your season's trending in all of the right directions. But that's a what if. That's hypothetical. We don't know how the rest of the season would have gone. And I think the other thing, and just to kind of go back for a moment to why you do this, to why that this is a real option for Green Bay. There are flaws with Matt. I don't think anybody's arguing that any differently, right? There's an argument to be made that maybe the most important aspect of how you win with this team is Jordan Love. And with Jordan Love, you have a coach that has grown with him, who understands him, who puts him in a position to succeed, who, even if it's Malik Willis, you have a head coach that, and it's not going to be obviously, but when it has been Malik Willis, he's been able to put together an offense that you can go out and win with Malik Willis. This is a coach that has been very, very good at developing the quarterback and has made it so that almost unless it's Clayton Tune out there, you're going to go out and have a chance to win football games every single week. You're going to be in the playoffs pretty much every single season. And I do think that there is a ton of value in that. But as everybody knows, this is title town. This is not, exit in wildcard weekend town. This is not 7th seed town. This is a team that has championship aspirations. And at the end of the day, until Matt gets that bugaboo off of him of being able to win big games. And listen, we're not talking about, even just winning a Super Bowl. Green Bay has not had the number 1 seed in the Matt LaFleur era. He has been to the playoffs 6 times. And in those 6 times, he has won a total of 3 games, which means if you stack all of those wins on top of each other in the same postseason, you do not win a Super Bowl. Because if you don't have the 1 seed, you need to get 4 postseason wins all in one off season to win said Super Bowl. So he has not got the 1 seed, and he has not won 4 playoff games in 6 playoffs. And he now needs to find a way either to get the 1 seed and win 3, or to win 4 all in one off season, or in one postseason. And until he does that, that is going to remain over his head. And he's going to have to show that he can make those improvements if he ever wants that hot seat not to be super hot.
Andy, the 49ers also faced a ton of injuries this season. And a lot of people throughout the season have compared the roads for the Niners and the Packers. Yet the Niners are going on, and they're going to face Seattle. What's the difference? What are the Niners doing that the Packers couldn't, besides just straight up winning the game?
Yeah, I mean, I do think that there are some what I would call mentality players on that team. Kyle Juszczyk, George Kittle, who I know went down with the injury yesterday, Trent Williams, even though they're not playing right now, like Fred Warner, there are players that are on that team that are butt kickers that go out there and set the tone, set the mentality, almost no matter what, right? I would say the other thing is that is a team with some of those core players that I mentioned that have experience winning big playoff games. Now, they haven't won the big one. That's another thing that you have to kind of be cognizant of. So I do think that there is some of that mentality as well. The other thing I will say, and if you're, again, playing devil's advocate here, is I was on last year a couple different 49ers shows and podcasts when Green Bay was facing San Francisco last year. And the amount of people in San Fran that wanted Kyle Shanahan fired last year when they were going through some injuries and were not going to make the playoffs and were not playing good football at all. And the context around Kyle Shanahan of not being able to win the big one and not having the playoff success and things like that, and always choking at the end, is eerily similar to what I'm hearing from Packers fans and Matt LaFleur right now. So if your example is like, well, why Kyle Shanahan's doing this, why can't Matt? Well, and again, I'm not necessarily saying that Kyle's not better than Matt or anything like that, but this was a fan base in San Fran that was in basically almost the exact same place last year as Packer fans are at, wanting Kyle Shanahan gone and wanting to bring somebody else in new because it was getting stale and they couldn't win the big one and they weren't stacking the playoff wins like they needed to. And obviously now San Fran, despite even some really just crippling injuries on their team, is now in the divisional round of the playoffs and just picked up a big win against Philly. So again, this is going to be, the onus is all going to be on Matt to figure out how that this team can improve and how they can have playoff success. I like the way that their schedule plays out next year on paper. I like the way that their roster looks on paper next year, if they can actually stay healthy for a season. But, even a lot of healthy games this year against teams like Cleveland, Carolina, Philly did not go the game, mostly healthy, did not go the way that you wanted them to. And again, that's going to be an onus on Matt to get that fixed next year.
Andy Herman, the Pack a Day podcast on Inside Wisconsin Sports. One more quick one, Andy. Do you think there's a chance they don't come to terms and that they ultimately part ways based on not agreeing on a contract? Because right now, Matt LaFleur was told at the beginning of the season that they're not going to renew his contract or talk about an extension of his contract during the season, and that he doesn't like lame duck deals. To your point, Matt LaFleur sure seems to be in a driver's seat position on all this, because if they don't come to terms, he will be a lame duck coach unless they ultimately decide to get rid of him.
Yeah, that was the one to me. Before this game, I was, again, pretty much vehemently on the, hey, this is not a situation where you fire Matt. But again, things change when you have that sort of loss in Chicago. But the thing that I've said all along is that's why this is an interesting dynamic. Even if you're not team fire Matt, the situation is Matt LaFleur on the open market with currently 8 head coaching jobs available out there would be the number one guy on the list, is going to get a 4-year, $60+ million contract on the open market. And so he's going to go to Green Bay and say, I want a 4-year, $60 million deal in Green Bay. And Green Bay is going to say, you just lost 5 games in a row, couldn't get through the wild card, have not won more than 3 playoff games, haven't won a playoff game since 2023, have won 1 playoff game in your last 5 years. Why the heck are we giving you a 4-year, $60 million deal? And that, to me, is where this gets extremely complicated. And yes, I do think there is a world where those two sides do not come to an agreement, just because Matt sees what's out there and the Packers have a lot of reasons to say, no, we don't want to do this. And that's where, again, things could get very interesting. So yes, it's noteworthy to me that both sides want to work towards this, but just because they both want to does not guarantee that this gets done the way that, again, it would certainly seem like it probably will on paper, but maybe not guaranteed to do so.
Thanks, Andy. That's all I was hoping for. You made me feel better. I was really hoping by the end of this that I was going to be able to smile again. I'm back.
You needed it.
I think there's about a 99% chance Matt's back, though. So there, just to bring you right back down.
Andy Herman, the Pack a Day podcast. I don't know.
Thanks,
Maybe
Andy.
we'll talk about the game when we talk to you on Friday, brother. Actually, is this it? Are we done?
No, we're gonna
Is
do
this
Friday.
the last-
Friday's the last one.
Yeah, come back
Okay.
Friday. We got to celebrate with Andy.
And as
We
I
have
told Sparky, if ever you guys want to have me on, I'm happy to come on. So just let me know. But
appreciate
yeah,
that.
Friday's our last scheduled one.
Thanks,
All right,
buddy.
deal, man. Well, we appreciate you. We'll chat Friday.
I appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
Andy Herman from the Pack a Day podcast joining us on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That's all. All right. What's up? Wisconsin's next.
I'm terrified to learn what your day has in store now.
I'm going to have to try to figure out what Ed Policy and the Packers are thinking. I must be missing something. I can admit if I was wrong. If I'm wrong, I need to go and figure out why I'm wrong.
Okay.
I'll spend some time thinking about that.
Okay.
I thought about it. I'm not wrong. I might be wrong. We'll see. All right. What's up? Wisconsin's next. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Try January. Good luck.
Trevor and Josh want to know.
What's up?
What's up, Wisconsin?
What's up?
What's your plan for the day?
What's up?
What are you doing tonight?
What's up?
Let us know what's up on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line. What's up, Wisconsin? What are you doing today? I'm literally going to take a step back and watch the tape. That's what the 715 just recommended. Take a step back, Trevor, and watch the tape. 80% players, 20% coaching after watching it, this fan says. But only do it if your blood pressure can handle it. It's bad.
Yeah, I was curious, and we hadn't really talked about it yet on the show, but a few people have been bringing up it being a personnel issue more than coaching, and looking at Goody and talking about off-season signings, and besides the Micah Parsons one, obviously, but the negative stuff, bring up negative arguments about Goody and player personnel. I think those are great questions for tomorrow. Maybe analyze that on tomorrow's show. I just think at this point, we're just still in shock that Matt LaFleur is going to still be the head coach of the Green Bay Packers. Do you right now think there's any chance that before the end of the week, we are announcing Matt LaFleur will not be the head coach of the Green Bay Packers?
Yeah, I do. I absolutely think there's a chance for that. And it has to happen this week. They're either going to come to an agreement this week, or they will decide to part ways this week. The fact that that could potentially be a, quote, mutual decision makes me even more pissed at the situation. Like, I'm the captain now, is what Ed Policy should say. I'm the captain.
Right.
We'll find out. They're apparently having talks about what it looks like for Matt to stay in Green Bay. You cannot go anywhere this morning, Wisconsin. You need to stick on here. Do not miss the start to 9 to noon with former Packer fullback John Kuhn and Rami Makloff today. They'll let you know at what time they plan to announce 2 new shows coming to the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. So do not go anywhere as we approach the top of the hour. This is major news. You thought the Matt LaFleur news was big? Mm-mm. I mean, yeah, but this is also really big news.
This is big news you'll like.
True.
That's the difference.
I haven't seen a single person text in that said, this will be fine.
I've seen a few people that said fine. I haven't seen anybody be happy about it. There are a few people living in the world of realism going, yeah, all right. I figured this might happen. No one's popping champagne. Tell you that.
And I do not like the excuse or take of, well, who better? That's not what this has to be. It doesn't have to be finding somebody better. It has to be finding somebody different with a different mindset and a different approach and a different idea of what the culture of the Green Bay Packers needs to be. That's it.
How about this one from Bob in Minneapolis? This might be good for you. He said, maybe the goal is to offer LaFleur X knowing he wants Y. Gives the organization a way to say, well, we just couldn't work out a deal.
Sounds great, Bob.
Maybe maybe they just lowball him. Maybe they give him the JJ Watt treatment, or just they just don't even make an offer. Or it's a terrible offer. Lowball him to where he goes, come on, guys, you got to do better than that. And they go, this is what we're offering you, Matt. You want it or you want to walk?
It certainly seems, though, that each side could argue that they have leverage here. Matt's going, hey, you want me? I got 1 year deal left. What do you want to do? Here's what I'm expecting. Green Bay goes, based on what? And it could be very easy for Matt LaFleur to say, guys, I don't know if you heard me. I have one year left on my deal. Do you want me to coach here? He could take that approach. If you want me, then let's sign an extension. And here's what I expect. If you don't, okay, cool. We'll see you when we see you.
Mm-hmm.
God knows we're not going to see you in the playoffs.
Well, he might as a 7 seed.
Oh, perfect. All right, don't go anywhere. 9 to noon with John Kuhn and Rami Makloff. That's next major announcement here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network is in your future. So stick with us. Just like the Packers are apparently sticking with Matt LaFleur.
Yeah.
We'll know more as the days and hours go on, but for now, it is what it is. So we got some homework to do, Josh, and it's why. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Because we're not done yet.